Hello there. Today's video features that thing there behind me. It's not quite a let's fit parts to and do stuff, it's more a case of what we're going to do with the car. There it is. It's been sat there for a while now. If you look to the left slightly, that's Bert the Corsa. I've been using that every day for, I don't know, a few months now. And this thing here is just kind of sat here. It doesn't do anything. I don't think I've started in a couple of months. The battery's off it, so it doesn't matter, so it won't be drained, but it will start. But yeah, it's just sort of sat there. What we're going to do with it? So like all kind of social media shit, you always say big things coming, but I don't know if there is. I did have plans to do a big power engine for it. Also plans to all-wheel drive it using CRV parts. I had a CRV. That's I kind of given that to my pal Johnny. I swapped it for his one, so we're going to take his to bits, and he was going to use mine because mine was a better car, but his bits were as good as mine, but just the shell wasn't as good. But I don't know if I'd actually be bothered. Yeah, it's just sits there, doesn't really do much. I think the problem is that I'm kind of excited to get the K20 Jazz back. Should be next week or so, a couple of weeks anyway, hopefully by the end of this month, and then that'll be on the way. But this thing just lives there. So, I don't know whether or not I'm going to sell it or not. I know that's a strange thing to say, seeing as this kind of channel was all built around this car, this kind of sparked the channel into life, but at the same point, it just doesn't do anything, and I've not really got much to do with it. I don't really do track days, I don't really go and do drag racing anymore. I just drive around to work and back. That's pretty sad and boring, I know, but I mean, next year might change, but for now, I don't know. What should we do? You can see there the bonnet's quite faded, but I've got that booked in to be fixed, so that will be sorted. But the rest of the car is just as it always was. Look at the leaves. Autumn. Yeah, I haven't changed anything on it. I think the last thing I did was a DC5 throttle cable. I haven't really driven it much since I've done that. It does need a new rocker cover gasket because this one's slightly leaking. It's more on the back than it is on the front, but yeah, not really, can't really tell, but it's got a bit of leak and it smells a bit. So I'm hoping that's all that is. But otherwise, it's fine. So yeah, the only oil leak I can find does come from the top end, but the rest of it seems decent. The rest of it runs alright still. I think that was another last thing I did. SMF fab oil catch can, smart as out. But yeah, what do we do? What do we do with it? So we fitted skunk 2 inlet, Tego 70mm throttle body, skunk 2 4-bar map sensor, K20 filter, whatever, GTX 3582R ball bearing turbo, a fake teal wastegate, which surprisingly works alright. It's an AH fab manifold and downpipe. What else we got? Fake teal dump valve. Tegular torque dampener and strut brace. I don't like the fact that's silver, like a shiny looking. I might actually paint that black. It's a bit annoying being that colour because it doesn't really do anything. It doesn't look that good. Yellow speed coilovers. What else we got? Not much else in there. Oh yeah. Another thing I'd like to change is fuel pressure regulators down there. I don't really like it being down there. I kind of maybe want to mount it here. Something I may look at changing. Also, I've got some more solid engine mounts to fit to it because it's still just got standard rubbers in it. They do have inserts in the front and the back and the gearbox mount, but I don't think they work that well. I can't remember if there's anything else I've done in there. It's pretty much all as it was. Got yellow speed brakes with the Evo 8 wheels. They're not the best in condition, they aren't marked, but it's fine. Michelin Pilot Spot 5s. Inside of the car, I don't know why I'm sitting in the passenger seat, I just am. Got I fitted, all these videos are on this channel, from pretty much everything that's ever happened to this car, but it's got a Kenwood touchscreen there, you've got a AAM air fuel ratio and boost gauges, The rest of the interior is just standard, apart from some really cheap Chinese Recaro seat cushion things which are totally rubbish. Also it's got K-Pro V-Flat ECU, which the cable lives in the footwell, and we've also got a fire extinguisher in case you set on fire. There's an underseat subwoofer as well, which is underneath the driver's seat, which has a little remote control, which is there. You can play around with it if you want. I never bother. I set it once and left it because it's fine. It has that's the microphone for the when you got the Apple CarPlay connected. Also, I don't know if the Type R's came with these, but when I've changed the front speakers, I can't remember what make I fitted to them now. I'd probably upgrade them to better ones actually, if I was being honest. But I've got tweeters in the door mirror covers. I'm not sure if what they were off. I think they weren't off the Type R. I think they were off like a Type S maybe. It's under 100,000 miles. I can't quite remember what the mileage is, but it's under 100,000. And I've changed the gear knob for this red one, the gear gator. But the handbrake gator, I really regretted doing this because it's crap. I wish I'd not bothered. I'd probably change that back, and I'd possibly change that back to a black one just because I think it'd probably look a bit better. But anyway, right. I can't think what else to tell you now. It's pretty much just the rest of its normal car, nothing exciting. Carbon fake Mugen spoiler, complete with a cobweb if you can see that. That's cool. And right in the boot, what we did, that's where the battery lives. Odyssey battery. It's got this little cut off there. And also actually it's got a Tegaway rear strut brace, which I don't think does anything. Doesn't seem to change anything with the car. The only problem here is that this sags a bit because it's got no spare wheel in it. No spare wheel in it anymore. This wood's just a bit crap and old, so that's something could do with being changed. And we've got rear diffuser fins. And also, if you can see, got red bits still, and they're still alright. They were cheap Chinese bits, but they're fine, they don't cause any problem. And there's the solid fab 3-inch exhaust system. A tow hook thing. And also it's got Type R rear mud flaps, which I fitted a while ago, but because of where I live in the winter it's quite muddy, so when you're driving around your car gets covered in quite a lot of shit, so they're actually pretty decent. But that's about it really. There you go, Civic. It was about, I think it was about 420 horsepower at 10 psi. I think we run it, it's a little bit more, it's maybe 12ish now. I've turned it up a tiny bit. I've never had it back on a dyno. I will put it back on the dyno before I do decide if I'm going to sell it or not, but there's a good chance I am. I think I'm like 60-40 currently to sell it or not, so it's still possible I might keep it, but I don't know if I've got use for it because the Jazz is probably going to be the next project after this. I don't know if I'm going to do that yet. I'll wait till it's on the road and all the teething problems are fixed, but for now this just sits here. Because I mean the K20 Jazz is going to be fun to drive. It's going to be hysterical. It'll be, I don't think it'll weigh 1,000 kilos, so 200 plus horsepower in that, and then obviously whatever we decide to do with the Jazz, it's great. I mean they're a great car, the Jazz. They're actually a better turning circle than the Civic has. They're comfy. It's got the same seats as the Civic, just like the green versions out of the Accord Type R, so it's a good comfy car to drive, and the back's huge in them because they're a little 5-door hatchback. They're massive compared to the Civic. Don't know if the handler's good though. Civic does handle pretty good, but I don't know. I've had it for 3 years. Is it time to move on? Got no plans as to what to buy next either, which is the other problem I guess. I've not got anything to replace it with. Do I need to replace it? I've got the Jazz. The Jazz is going to be just as good driving around and probably just as much fun as that is, so who knows, who knows. But yeah, I've got a couple of things I'm still going to do to the Civic before I do decide if I'm going to sell or not. Obviously the bonnet is getting re-lacquered in I think it's about a week's time, so that'll be sorted. That'll make the front end just look a little bit shinier again because it looks really matte and it's pretty crap looking to be honest, but it is an old bonnet, so whatever. But yeah, I'll do that, and then I'm going to fix the rocker cover gasket because it is leaking a tiny bit. And it's just annoying because it leaves a little drip on the floor, and it's definitely coming from high up because I've checked everywhere and there's no oil leak coming from low down. It's above the manifold, so it must be the rocker cover gasket. But I'll fix that, and then I'll decide, probably it's going to be in the new year regardless, but I'll decide what we're going to do with it. Had it a while, it's been fun. I don't regret it. It's not exactly cost me a lot of money, and the strange thing is that in the 2+ years it's been turboed, unexpectedly, nothing's ever gone wrong with it, which is weird. You wouldn't expect it to survive as much as it has, but hey, there you go. So, I don't know what will happen with this. I don't know whether or not we'll carry on. I don't know whether or not I'll do the all-wheel drive. I don't know whether or not I'll put a bigger, a built engine in it, sorry. I don't know what to do with it. It is completely standard engine. It does make over 400 horsepower and it's perfectly fine. Yeah, that's about it really. Thanks for watching.